Welcome to Kellum Law Firm's YouTube channel. In this video, we're looking at the issues surrounding dashcam and cell phone records and how the data stored might be used against you in the event of an accident. A lot of people think the more evidence you have after a crash, the better. And sometimes that's true. But sometimes, the very thing you think is going to help you can start causing problems. Maybe you've got a dashcam in the car. Maybe somebody starts asking for your cell phone records. Maybe the insurance company makes it all sound routine. No big deal, just part of the process. And that's where people can get caught off guard. Because what feels like a simple request can turn into somebody digging for anything they can use to question your story. Dashcam footage is a good example. Most people hear dashcam and think, great, that proves what happened. And it might. It might show the other driver drifting over, running a red light, following too closely, or causing the crash in some other obvious way. But dashcam footage does not always tell the story the way you think it will. Maybe it shows you looking away for a second. Maybe it catches you braking late. Maybe it records something said in the car right after the crash, when you're shaken up and not thinking clearly. The same idea applies to cell phone records. People usually think of those records as something that would hurt the other driver. For example, proving they were texting. But the insurance company may also be looking at whether you were on your phone, when calls were made, what the timing looks like, and whether there is anything there that helps them raise doubt. So who usually asks for this stuff? Sometimes it starts with an insurance adjuster. They may ask for footage, documents, or signed forms that give them access to records. Later on, if a case turns into a lawsuit, the defense may push for a lot more. And that's when something that seemed casual at the beginning starts becoming much more serious. Now here's the question a lot of people have. Can you say no? In some situations, yes. Especially when somebody is asking you early on to sign broad forms, or hand over things without really explaining why. That doesn't mean you should play games or hide evidence. It just means you should not assume every request is harmless because it's coming in a polite email or over a friendly phone call. And that brings up another problem. What if you already said yes? What if you signed something without thinking much about it, or handed over footage and later realize they're using it against you? That happens more than people think. Somebody gets injured. They're stressed. They're trying to cooperate. They sign a release. They hand something over. And only later do they realize the insurance company is not just collecting information. They're building a defense. That does not automatically ruin your case, but it can make things harder. Because now the issue becomes how that evidence is being interpreted, whether it's incomplete, whether it's being taken out of context, and what can be done to push back on the way it's being used. And really, that's the bigger point here. Dashcam footage is not always your friend. Cell phone records are not always your enemy. It depends on what they show, who's asking for them, and how early you give someone access. The mistake people make is thinking, I've got nothing to hide, so this should be fine. But injury claims are not just about truth in the everyday sense. They're also about how facts get framed, how they get spun, how a small detail gets turned into an argument that you were distracted, not really hurt, or partly to blame. So after a crash, slow down. Before you sign anything, before you send footage, before you agree to broad requests for records, make sure you understand what's being asked for and why. Because sometimes the evidence you think will protect your claim ends up being the very thing the insurance company uses to chip away at it. For more information about injury claims in North Carolina, visit KellumLawFirm.com.